there, Postal here. So we're taking out the F-86A. Absolutely love this plane, still love this plane, haven't played the game in months and months and months. Hopped back in this plane, and yeah, I was wondering, you know, is it still as good as I remember it being? I was doing a lot of grinding before I stopped, so I hadn't had the opportunity to play as many of the, you know, my favorites as I had wanted to. And yeah, I mean, the game hasn't changed, right? There hasn't been any friggin' patch updates or anything like that in forever, so if the plane was good 6 months ago, it's still good. And this plane is so good. It is so underappreciated. It isn't like all... I don't think it's the top of the tier 10 list by the community standards because it's not very flashy. It's a workman's jet. It really is. But it's so good at everything it does. So, alright, so obviously we're in a tier 10 match here. Went down, got that garrison. Key right now is to definitely get the airbase. I've flagged the mining facility for them to attack. Not that I can do anything there, but I'll focus on the center here. You guys go get the mining facility and we'll win this. Let's go ahead and try to chase down this Javelin, right? Javelin, obviously very, very quick tier 10 heavy fighter. His guns are not very good at, you know, chunks of damage, but he was not escaping me, and my patience worked off. So here, you're going to see a lot of dogfighting, just a ton in a row here. And the key to this plane's abilities is every time I knock out a plane, I instantly target the next closest plane just to see what, you know, make a decision. Is that the plane I'm going to go for, or what? In this instance, I actually went for the plane behind the plane that was closest, because I figured you take him out, then you take out the plane that's in front of him, right? So I'm getting a twofer here, rather than taking out the plane in front and then having to worry about the plane behind him. So again, just hitting my targeter. There's the next closest plane. You're going to notice my airspeed here. If you're watching the airspeed, you know, I use my my boost to get where I need to go. And then very often I've got to be hitting the air brakes quite a bit. This plane, the frickin' Sabre, is so quick. Very often I'm hitting the air brakes so that I can not, you know, go flying past the target. There's many times that I've tried to stick with an enemy, and you know, unfortunately, they just go flying past them. All right. Speaking of which. Trying to stick with this frickin' Spitfire, which is a Spitfire, right? So you'd think, okay, jet, you can't really hang with them too much, but you can definitely do that with the Sabre. And I sure hope that skipping wasn't on the recording, it's just on my version. Woo! Almost hit our buddy. Alright, so again, just kind of targeting. Now we've got to get the F-86A. Ooh! Did not mean to ram him. It's definitely not what we want to do. Luckily, we were still alive. And we're going to hopefully take over the center. I need to try to take over the center very quickly so the anti-aircraft guns don't kill me, because those will when I'm only on 32 hit points. Excellent. Got this knocked out. Let's get down low so we can get away from the enemy aircraft, and we can start healing. Hey, look, the freaking wrench is still available. So we'll get super healed here. Let's get ourselves healed, paying attention to what's around us. Alright. Whew. Take a deep breath. That was a lot of dogfighting there, right? So let's go ahead and get this fighter knocked out. LA-160, I can do everything better than the LA-160. Outmaneuver, outspeed, out-alt, and all I need to do is just get behind it. Even going against something like a light fighter, the guns take a while to work it down. But what I like about the 50 cal machine guns is you can start firing a little early because they're not going to overheat anytime soon. So you fire early, so you're definitely getting your shots on target, and you know, just kind of spray the area with frickin' machine gun bullets. All right, so I wanted to focus on this guy first, just because I don't know about you, but I've had enough Jawas get behind me, and a couple chunks of 30 mil cannons completely take you out. So I'd rather take him out first. And then I'll worry about the F-84 behind me there. F-84 I can outmaneuver, and it's just got machine guns too, so let's go ahead and get on him. So right now, you know, we're just holding on the center. I'm not in any rush to like worry about the mining facility. Honestly, I hope they take the mining facility. The fact of the matter is, I've been playing a bunch of games this morning in the F-86A, and they've all just been like stomps in the face. Winning before I even get 10,000 personal points, maxing out, that kind of stuff. So I'm not on attack mode right now, right? Right now I'm trying to get personal points, because you know, I want to post a decent video. And so I'm just staying in the center. This plane, like many fighters, is very good at just holding down the sector. This plane more than many other planes though, because, oh, something's up high, I can get there in a second. You just saw I got up to 640 something miles an hour. And now I gotta hit the air brakes. Stop! And so this plane's very good at holding a sector. I can go up high as needed, I can go down low as needed, because you can, you know, be that tourney fighter if you need to be a tourney fighter. So I see the game's gonna be ending pretty soon, so let's just go ahead and get some extra kills if we can. Get this guy knocked out. Nope, not quick enough. I mean, this game itself wasn't, you know, really balanced. It was still one-sided. But let's roll right into my commentary from the game. Whew, man, I've had a bunch of, you know, bunch of wins today in the F-86A, but not a lot of good point games. Let's head back, though. Well, so, I mean, I guess I had to manufacture those personal points, right? Like, that game was never out of... I never felt like it was out of control. I was purposefully ignoring the mining facility just because I honestly wish they kind of took it, because then I could have easily gotten 20,000 personal points. But the fact of the matter is, you know, I did everything that you could do in an F-86A, which is basically everything. The reason I love this plane so much is because the dynamics of the airframe itself are you know, just top notch, right? It's not necessarily the best at anything, but it's the second best at everything. I've set my F-86A up for speed, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. Take a quick look here at the end plates. 16 targets destroyed. Again, if they had taken the mining facility, I guarantee we still would have won, and I would have been able to get an ace out of this. I've had a lot of games today, you know, less than 10,000 personal points, just like raffle stomps. In the last game I just had like a Nakamatsu and a McCampbell, and 9,000 personal points, because this plane can do what you need it to do to win the game, and I absolutely love it for that. I never feel like a game is out of control when I'm in an F-86A. Even if I'm going against human bombers or human GAs. I mean, I'm going against bots. It's flipping, what time is it? 8 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, so yeah. There's not a lot on the NA at this point. And, you know, there you go. So, let's take a quick look at how I've got this plane set up and why I would recommend setting it up like this. So I've got the plane specialized, yes, I understand. But I've completely got it set up for airspeed. As much as possible. Airspeed and maneuverability is my second. And why is that? Like, you know, a lot of planes you're going to be trying to maximize the guns. You're going to be trying to maximize, you know, the potential for your cannons to be, you know, hitting their targets, right? Well, this Tier 10 plane does not have cannons. It still has those 50 cal machine guns. And so I've just got the accuracy gyroscopic sight on here. I could see putting something like the G-suit, but to be honest, the way I've got the rest of the setup on this particular plane, I don't see the reason for a G-suit. This is, you know, making sure that my very, very poor damage per second guns are actually hitting target, or hitting target as well as possible. So I'm maximizing that part of it. The rest of this setup is all about speed. And you can see on the airspeed here how much higher the airspeed is than the normal would be airspeed, how much higher my maneuverability is. And so this is what that allows me to do, is it sets my airplane up to be able to be where I need it to be to put those crappy guns to good use. I've even gone so far as doing improved mixture control as well as engine cooling here, and I just want to make sure I'm getting as much speed as possible. And you could see in a lot of those, a lot of the movement that I did, I was able to get from very low to very high altitude. I was able to get from one sector to another very, very quickly. I utilized my consumable to get where I needed to go. I didn't necessarily need it to get away from danger. I was actually using it to get into danger, because this plane handles being in the midst of a dogfight as well as any other plane at tier 10. Yeah, the Yak 30 can outmaneuver it. I don't know about the Key 162. I don't think the Key 162 can outmaneuver it. My cat just likes being annoying when I'm trying to record videos. It can outmaneuver, but you know what? It can barely outmaneuver it. And a Key 162, you look at sideways and it'll burst into flames, right? Everything else about the Key 162, in my opinion, is worse, if not significantly worse than the F-86A. It says the gun armament's better, but it's two 30mm cannons, and you know how two 30mm cannons can be so fickle. These guns are nothing if it isn't for their consistency on the F-86A. They are nothing but consistent. You can hold down the trigger for 60 seconds before they overheat. Yeah, they're not going to do a lot of damage, but you can just hold it down like, yeah, okay, I missed a bunch of shots, it doesn't matter. So I mean, that can actually be a strong point to this plane. Granted, you're not going to be able to sit behind a maximized tier 10 bomber for a minute. You will get torn up by the rear guns, but you have the ability to do some damage, pop off of that guy, go to a different guy, do some dogfighting, go back to the bomber. You know, come at different angles, because you can go 600 miles an hour in this plane. There's not a lot of other planes that can do that. There is no other plane that can do that at this maneuverability. Swift is really good for airspeed, of course, but its maneuverability, and it has pretty good maneuverability, but it's not this kind of maneuverability, right? I really do like the Swift. The ME 1101, which is probably, if you polled the community, would probably be the top tier 10 fighter in the game. The metrics of the airframe itself are just, they're poorer than the Sabre. You can get the airspeed up higher. Obviously, I don't even have it specialized. A lot of people that do fly it have it specialized, but the maneuverability and the altitude performance will never be as high as the F-86A. The guns are awesome on the 1101. Don't get me wrong. I wish the F-86A in the in-game had the cannons that were available on the actual plane in real life. But to be honest, this plane would be overpowered if it had cannons. And I mean that. I've thought about it a lot. I've talked with some other pilots about that in the game. And think about that. If this plane had 20mm cannons, 4 20mm cannons, like an 1101, it would be an overpowered plane. And so what does that tell you about the fact that it's got weak guns? It's actually well-balanced machine, but I think because so much of it is based on its ability to have great maneuverability and airspeed, that take advantage of its strengths and don't just focus on the guns, the same guns basically that you've had since tier 5, because they are, right? Focus on everything else this plane can do, because it can do everything else so well. It's got that altitude. I mean, it's a high altitude, highly maneuverable fighter. It's the best of both worlds with mediocre to poor guns. I can deal with mediocre to poor guns because this plane will put me in position to succeed every single time if I'm paying attention to the map. Alright, so that's my recap on the F-86A. It is American Week. I highly recommend, if you're going down the American fighter line, keep plugging on it. It's a really good line. It's got some great planes. There's some struggles as far as the planes are concerned. But I mean, to be honest, I think I've only kept the tier 8. I have only kept the tier 8, but that's because it's freaking classic. A lot of the P-51s can struggle at their tier 6 and 7. Tier 8 at this plane I think is a really, really good plane for different reasons, but it's basically the same guns as the FJ1 above it and the F-86A at Tier 10. So you should be used to those guns. Definitely want you to go out, continue down this line, even if you're struggling. You will love the F-86A. It's a different beast, but it is a beast nonetheless. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're enjoying the World of Nations, the March of Nations for the American Week, and I hope you see you soon.